us. You can feel it from the players. You can feel it around the arena. It is absolutely electric, and I am excited to go through this journey and process with you.
Oh, listen, we're going to have an absolute blast. We've got some key players, of course, who are here. Talk us through some of the matchups.
Well, you got to start, right, with the point guards. Dundao, of course, he is the play it on both ends of the floor. He is the play it on both ends of the floor guy. And then Thomas Jr., he missed the three that would have tied the last game to send to overtime.
Right.
And guess what? He's like you. He's never met a shot that he doesn't like.
He's on fire already, Lance. I love it. Okay, well, there you can see that we have Petro de Luanda playing in yellow, of course, with FAP of Cameroon, who are just getting the early ball, winning the tip-off. Oh, he's in. He's already on fire. The big man, Vander, for Petro, just flapping it away as if it was nothing.
Yeah, and Vander, speaking of which, last game, he made 3 out of 4 threes. He's very dangerous. This team got off to a 9-0 run, as you know, pal. And
yes.
They're very dangerous early, so good to see FAP get an easy basket here early.
Very important. There's a three-pointer just coming off the metal, and here they go, going on a bit of a charge up court. An attempt for 2, but it's been blocked once again. Big men at the back, Lance. They're holding court a little bit.
Well, they're going to play defense, as I said. They kept them to 9 points in the last game. They play serious defense, play both ends of the floor. But this guy here, Vander, is extremely dangerous, as you see, picking up from where he left off last game, starting with the big threes.
There you go. Watch out for him. And, of course, you know, he'll be one to watch throughout this encounter. This is the Basketball Africa League, and we've got top-shelf players from right across Africa and the world. The ball's just been pinched out of the thin air there, and here he goes once again with a lovely little Dundao layup. The foul's been awarded.
Yeah, and that defense came from Marius, number 33. He's a big-time shooter, but he's also part of that core. As you see Dundao get to the basket and try to finish. I didn't see. There's the big 3 from Mr. Vander. Yeah. But did you see exactly what that call was?
No, I didn't. I was actually trying to sort out a couple of little notes here. I'm sorry, lads. We're 1.5 in, and they're already going for the big, long-distance shots from downtown. Yeah, and Thomas Jr. is showing that he's a lot taller than Dundao. See if he can use that length today. A wonderful attempt at a layup, but it comes to nothing, and they're just charging out very quickly. They know that they've got a game on their hands against one of the favorites here in Rwanda. The attempt to try and nail 2 points from out wide comes to nothing once again. And Petro de Luanda, they are so dangerous pushing forward, Lance. Well, yeah, they also play a dynamic style. They can play fast or slow, whereas I don't think FAP can do that as easily as you see Thomas Jr. kick it back out to Mr. Amadou. Oh, I mean, where did that come from? Honestly, you can't even blink during this opening sequence of plays. You're getting a taste of what I got the other night. I mean, it was seriously, it was baptism by fire, because they don't slow it down. FAP, they keep coming at you for the entirety of the game. And they lost by 3 points to AS Saleh, right? The Moroccan Giants. That just comes off the iron and coming back out, easily taken there. The rebound, of course, as they take the ball up court. Haruna for 3, but once again, the targets have just been missed. Another attempt just on the edge of the arc, and it's been calmly taken away by Petro. Well, as you see FAP putting it up, they are not shy about getting baskets up. Whoa! Speaking of getting baskets up, that's a great finish at the rim using the length of the big fella. Now, he was the MVP in the opening game, of course, and to be honest with you, when you actually see what Petro are capable of doing, they have got a CV. It's not just an illustrious CV, Lance. It is so long, it's longer than the Congo River. They've done everything in the continent. And Petro de Luanda, with their coach, of course, former coach, is actually on the sideline for the Cameroon team, FAP. He was there for 8 years, of course, wasn't he? Coaching Lazare Adi Ngono. An attempt for 3 points, and well, it's been drained.
Well, that's Thomas Jr. That's about the spot where he missed the shot the other night. No residual effects from what occurred there. This young man is not shy about getting the ball up.
Quick to get the ball out wide. The attempt for three from Gonçalves comes to nothing.
Well, and you talked about the length of their resume. How about this length here? You'll see it in the offensive rebound. You've got to put a body on him. And if you don't, you're going to pay a price for it. We'll see it here with the extra free throw. But you got to find him, particularly on the offensive end of the floor. He is extremely dangerous. He showed that the other night. His ability to rebound the basketball. Sorry about that, partner.
Oh, no problem at all. You know, we're having a blast here, and we're only 3 minutes 50 in. Lance, we had so much time to enjoy this encounter. You saw Coach Neto, of course, the Brazilian coach. Oh, it's been given away there. It was an easy take there, and the layup didn't really hit the target, and a little bit of a tap on the basketball base there, because a little bit frustrated finally, Gonçalves.
Well, yeah, here's the end of that play, and I'll tell you why that happened. Thomas Jr. premeditated that. He knew where he was going to go with the play, and the defense was played to perfection. Just shooting the gap there. Gerson did a great job, and you can't, as a basketball player, particularly as a point guard, you want to survey the land, and you don't want to predetermine what you're going to do. You have to read the defense and let the defense dictate what you do. In that case, Thomas Jefferson did something he doesn't do a lot, which is pass, and he had to pay for it with the good defense by Petro.
Got to be smart about it. You've got to be smart, and you know, if you're pushing forward, of course, you've got to use your skill set. It's just a mid-range shot for two, but I'm afraid that it just flies back off the metal there. Haruna of Niger, of course, one of the foreign members of this team. When you look at it, you've got 8 players from each country, of course, homegrown talent, and then you've got 2 foreigners from outside of Africa, anywhere, of course, and then you've got 2 players from inside of Africa, but not from the same country. So that's 4 foreigners, basically, which makes for some interesting ingredients, you know. You have to fit in, you have to understand exactly how you function together, and the communication as well with languages has been an issue that needs to be addressed, but at the end of the day, Lance, I think everybody speaks basketball when they're playing on the court, right?
Well, that's well stated. Chemistry and synergy matter a lot in this league. That's an unsportsmanlike foul. I believe that's what we ended up with because of the fast break situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the U.S. and the NBA, they call that a clear path foul is what it would be if you foul a guy and no one's between him and the basket.
It's pretty blatant, isn't it?
It's blatant, yeah, because you're taking away what would normally be an easy 2.
You're robbing him of his points.
Exactly. That's a little aggressive, Rob, but okay, you're robbing him. I love how you say that. You're robbing him. I mean, so dramatic. You're taking it from him.
Bring it on. Here we are, the 2 points for FAP, and they go down. Nkene, who's from Douala, doing the business, and FAP just pushing forward. In that opening game against ASL, we saw them literally run the show up until the final quarter. They must have been so distressed and upset about not getting that win, losing by 3 at the end.
Boy, that's a beautiful behind-the-back pass, on time and on target to Vandernon.
Big time.
And gets it back and then goes to the big fella again underneath. How about the help with the block? Wow.
There's some big plays already on show here as we've just gone past the first 5 minutes of this second battle in this groupie encounter, and it's a turnover and a good opportunity. Oh, it's a little bit too high, I think, there for Pedro to produce the alley-oops.
You've got to value the ball.
Oh, charge. And it's going to be it's an offensive foul there, just trying to go straight through the small defender, of course, Senge, and who just, well, hits the deck in a big way.
Well, and
of Cameroon, 11 points. It's 10 points for Petro de Luanda. It's Unity Day in Cameroon, Lance Blanks. What does that mean? Well, who's in action here today? Well, let me just tell you, it's the Armed Forces and Police basketball team. What would they normally be doing back home? They would parade. They'd be parade. It's a big game for FAP to try and do something out here today. National pride at stake.
Well, you've been a little dramatic today, and I want to add to that because they are literally fighting for their lives right now in this group. They had the unfortunate loss by 3. I think if they go down here against a very good Petro team, they're going to be in big trouble as it relates to trying to get into the playoffs, Robbie.
Big time, big time, big time. Okay, here we go. FAP with a long-distance three-pointer, and that was just sublime there. Coming in from Senge, he just landed that impeccably. They got a 4-point lead.
Cedric Nsenga, he comes off the bench, and he's a guy that can knock down shots, a little bit of a sniper.
Bit of traveling going on there, I'm afraid. You know, if you want to travel up court, but don't get the referee's attention. You need to go in the right direction. You need to get the points. And AFP getting back possession when really they should have been up there trying to find their range.
Oh, yeah. FAP has to capitalize on all mistakes by Petro because of their maturity.
A mid-range 2 there from Hezekiah. He's a stateside boy, isn't he, from Florida?
Yeah, and he can get it done, especially in that area. He can also block shots. He plays both ends of the floor. And as you said, brings a little bit of that Western style, having spent time and been from Miami.
Dundao working well, the big boys in the paint, but there's a little foul coming in from Senge, just trying to, little tap of the wrist, I think. Shows a little bit of a sheepish face there, but he is guilty.
Yeah, who was that foul? That looked like...
It's on Petro.
Was that on Petro?
Yeah.
I thought that was on Amadou, no?
I don't think it was on Petro, but... We can't agree on everything, lads.
We can't agree. I mean, he's laughing now. We can't. We can run the tape back and see.
You'll probably miss about 16 points if we do that.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of 16 points, that is a blessing and a curse for FAP in that they don't really govern their speed, and I think that's what hurt them in their loss. As you see here, they go quick, and sometimes it works for them, and other times it works against them. I think, Robbie, they need to try to offer a little bit of balance and manage the clock, especially because they're playing against such a veteran club in Petro.
Yeah, Petro are extremely technical, remember, and they've always been technical. They've got a very good infrastructure, of course, down in Angola. Angolan basketball is, really one of the top nations in the continent, winning numerous Afro-basket titles, of course, and then there's African Championship gold medals, as well as the three-pointer from Dundao comes back off the metal. So they come up against a very physical team in FAP. I think we saw that in the opening clash, the opening battle against Ayasali.
Oh, yeah, not only physical, but a young team in FAP. This is, they're at about 27 years old versus a team that averages about 31 years old, with several guys or a few guys that are anywhere from 35 to 38 years old. As Dundao, the two-way point guard, plays bigger than he really is and knocks down the big 3, Robbie.
Oh, that was done now. That was impeccable. I love the 3-points, the 16-3. That'll just get them back into, into their focused area. They don't want to allow FAP, they don't allow anybody to get away from them. We got a foul, and we've also got some free throws coming up.
Yeah, it truly is a contrast in styles as you talk about them not wanting to allow FAP to get away from them. FAP is typically going to push the envelope, push the pressure onto Petro, and then contrarily, Petro's going to offer a mix of all, and they're also going to play stifling defense.
Well, we've got to change, of course. You can see Ryan Richards, who's come on. Now, watch out for him. He's got dual nationality, Angola, UK, and he has just been a handful playing in the opening clash, of course, against in their opening win. Pretty impressive indeed, but just a handful. When he gets inside of the arc, Lance, you've got to really watch out. He hustles, he moves, he's like a really complicated player to deal with. But at the other end, look at this. That's it's a steal, isn't it, basically? And Kene doing the business there for 2.
And Kene taking his time, gathering himself, getting the easy layup. Very important if you get turnovers like that you're able to finish.
Oh, well, just hammer it down. Why not? 3 points there. And it just looks so easy. And there was no pressure on him, really. FAP just driving into the paint, the little over the top there, beautiful 2 points from that man Hezekiah.
Yeah, and I think the big story to me is the pace that FAP is playing at right now. They're winning, their pace is winning the battle in this game, is what offers them the 5-point lead.
This is sensational from Petro Luanda. They really look like a team moving forward. A really solid 2 there coming in from Pedro. The big man finds a little bit of space. The boulevard opens up.
Well, whenever Pedro's on the floor, you got to find him in space, even when he doesn't have the ball, because he cuts so well. He's extremely long.
Nkene once again, who's unable to hit the 2, and they're closing the gap. If they can get something from here, Petro Luanda, and it looks like they will from that foul, then they can just, they're reeling FAP back in.
Yeah, Robbie, you see, as he comes off the little dribble handoff right there, he's able to catch a little pocket pass and the finish.
The pocket pass.
Pocket pass, yeah, you got to find Pedro in space. You cannot get a body off him. He's a live wire. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that he had 17 rebounds, 10 of which were on the offensive end in his last outing. That is some serious BAL production, my man, Robbie. 17 rebounds. I mean, along with you, he's the other MVP, in my estimation, in this building tonight. No, seriously, that's a stars among stars. If you're going to bring it down, 17 times, 10 being on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah, Petro, MVP, of course. There's Coach Neto. He must be pretty happy with the way that they've managed to just stall this FAP. It's not domination, but they just kept ahead, you know. You got to tweak some of those things inside of your game, and I think that Neto's seen that it's now a 1-point game. I'm happy with this. Watch out for the coach from AFP. Lazaro might actually sort of call a timeout pretty soon. We've got 34 seconds left on the clock, so it's not going to happen now.
And they just tweaked it with that full court pressure to slow them down, which they've done here.
FAP going for 2. It's just can't find the bottom of the net there. Richards with the rebound, picked up, 15 seconds to go, and there's a foul. No, it's traveling, in fact. You see the movement there. That's a little bit disappointing, I think, for Petro. And it's the veteran, Lionel Paulo, 35-year-old, played at the Olympics in 2008.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise because they didn't have to really rush it. It was a last possession situation. Last game they had 18 turnovers. As we get late in the clock here with only 4 to go, as Cyril has it up top.
Well, he's a wily contender, isn't he? Just goes up and, he just misses the target. And look at this. This is a scenario which is very tight. We expected this to be tight, and it is one of those encounters where we don't know where it's going to go. We love the fact that we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know. This is the Basketball Africa League. This is day 5. This is the second round of games. Of course, 3 groups of 4. Top 2 from each 3 groups go through, and the 2 best placed third place teams, 8 in total, into the final 8, of course. We're not there yet. We're still waiting to find out. There's only one team that's actually qualified already, Lance Blanks, and that is the Patriots. As we see that man hit 3 out wide, it's absolutely sensational stuff. Incredible stuff there, in fact, from Liale Kamu.
You talk about being qualified. Boy, that was a beautiful jump shot from beyond the arc. Just picture perfect.
Gerson Domingos, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Let me just get myself sorted.
Well,
no,
I
just started commentating the other side of the court, in fact.
You know what? It's how good you are. I saw that, and you just don't want to correct a legend. So you say, I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to say Gerson, but I tell you what, it was a beautiful shot. Speaking of which, Etienne knocks one down from the corner as he enters the floor. What a beautiful back-to-back threes from either ball club.
It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? This is top quality basketball, isn't it? Richards getting the ball out wide, but the traveling call has already been made by the referee, and you can't make mistakes like that, especially when it's been so tight since the start.
Well, and that seems to be a little bit viral right now for Petro. That's the 8th turnover. You got a big out there trying to do something he can't do. And they may pay for it here.
2 inside of the arc, but it's not hit the target. It hasn't been drained. It's still a 1-point game as this tight tussle here in Kigali just continues to produce some very fine entertainment indeed. And you can just see that, well, there's a scramble for the ball on the ground. And finally, you can see that Isome gets...
Look at this relentless pressure. Look at that. Look at that on the floor. I love the level of intensity of pressure. And the officials are telling you by not calling a foul, you're going to have to be strong with the ball, especially with Gerson around you.
That's a big, high shot there coming in, but it hasn't been drained there from Isome. And there's the coach. There's our coach from Cameroon, Lazare Adi Ngono, 2011 FIBA African Championship title, of course, and spent 8 years coaching Petro de Luanda. He knows all of these players. All of these players.
He also spent some time over in America as well, learning and shaping his craft.
Yeah, he's very well respected, of course. He will leave. Oh, that's a beautiful 3. What a beautiful 3 coming in there from Antwan Scott, who gets a little bit of a court time now in the second quarter. FAP, Petro de Luanda. And the attempted jump shot there from distance, from downtown, just comes off the iron. But Petro de Luanda, for the first time, moving ahead. Well, first time in a long time anyway, moving ahead by 2.
Well, you might have seen there, Ibaka had a lot of room and space to get that shot off. There's a reason for it. That's not part of his game. He's got to be a little more patient and find a teammate to get the ball to in that situation.
Nice ball on the outside, but it's the second call, and that's not good. That's Paolo, isn't it, who traveled?
Yeah, not only Paolo, that's number 9 for the veterans. That's not something that you typically would see with a veteran ball club, especially the level of the veterans they have on this club. And that's a late screen. Baku steps out and gives the little hip check.
Yeah, you can see the referee on the far side just making the call, of course. We need to really that's not just say how good the referees have been, since the start of this competition. Absolutely outstanding.
Incredible officiating. It's very consistent, and that's one of the measures of good officiating, is that they call it the same way. And I also love how they're letting the guys play.
Very important. That's a really good attempt to try and redeem himself, but I'm afraid that Lionel Paolo doesn't manage to do the business. Homegrown from Luanda, of course, and a former Olympian in China in 2008 when that famous US team did the business. This is a big 3 from downtown. The rebound, the offensive rebound, second attempt at the apple, another chance. Ball comes out. What are you going to do? 12 seconds, 11 seconds. Shot clock goes down, and that's a beautiful ball underneath the ring. But once again, they miss out on how many opportunities there? I can't even count. I need an abacus for that.
Yeah, you got to finish that, but that is what you call, Robbie, good to great basketball level club.
And the good thing is that, they speak the same language, of course, Portuguese being spoken in Brazilian. Yep. The head goes down. He's thinking a lot, isn't he? You can see that Lazare Adi Ngono is trying to get one over his opposite number, of course. And this is why it's so interesting. It's a story within a story, as our director, Sergio, likes to say. And they're going to be having it's bragging rights at the end of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's got to be an extra added element of desire to get this done. And also, look, Lazare, he's an aggressive style of coaching. So kind of like you with your energy, he just poured a little gas on that today, playing against a former team.
Just don't let the flames go too high, lads.
As Gerson misses the 3, and then we get the turnover. We can barely have a conversation. This game has such intensity. And if we are going to have a conversation, you better get it in quick. It's truly a joy to watch.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And, we expected high-octane basketball played out here. We saw what FAP produced in that game against ASL. They've got something to prove. And, of course, Petro, well, they've got something to prove. Even if it's a friendly game, it doesn't matter. They all count for Petro because they are winners. And they want to win everything. As Richards takes the ball, takes the rebound, and just gets back possession. That's a good attempt at a three-pointer, but it's not good enough if it doesn't go down. Richards. Quickly up court. FAP, they're trying to use what they've got. You know, I think that every team, all 12 teams in this Basketball Africa League have got their own organic, their own raw talent, and that's what they bring. That's what makes it so interesting. Every single matchup has been completely different, and clashes of styles in a big way, as we see the big man trying to go up for 2 points there. Of course, Paolo Richards, big enough to take this. It's a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one. Oh, he's still got the ball, hasn't he, Paolo? And finally, it comes off the defender who comes back, and that's Antwan Toko, and it will be possession for Petro.
Yeah, well, two things. FAP is playing a zone and trying to force shots, as we see here, the scrum for the ball. The other thing is what we're seeing here. Both teams are aggressive and playing hard, but there are a lot of self-inflicted wounds with taking care of the ball, Robbie. This game comes down to possessions and execution, and if you keep turning it over, you just compound the problem and give your opponent a better opportunity to beat you.
Richards.
Speaking of turnovers.
Yeah, he's flinging the ball out wide, and I'm afraid that you just got to be a little bit more slicker, be more meticulous, you know, with your passing against a team like FAP. Double shot, double miss, and they get the ball back. A little bit of lady luck on their side on this occasion.
Yeah, this game is starting to turn into a matter of who will make the fewer mistakes. You see a lot of offensive rebounds being given up. As you made it, or as you said it with Richard, you see balls being flung. There's got to be a lot more care to finish out defensive possessions with a rebound and also taking care of the ball when you have it on the offensive end and you have an opportunity to score it.
Listen, the man's out on the right-hand side, and that was an attempt for three coming in from Liali Kimue. A drive right through the middle, but there's just too many defenders there, and we'll see that there was an offensive foul. And who was it? I think it may have been...
I couldn't see exactly who that was, and I don't want to have to debate with you because you have some strong opinions there.
Antwan Toko, wasn't it? It was just...
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm riding with you, pal.
Okay, good man. So mate, we're on the same bandwagon, and we've got a change, of course, and Richards will take this ball, and you can see there hasn't been many points scored in the last couple of minutes, and we're already halfway through the second quarter. It's time for them to just sharpen up, you know, their act on both sides, Lance.
Well, yeah, I mean, for example, in the case of FAP, they've only scored 3 points in almost 5 minutes, and that's because of all those turnovers. As we see the nice pass to the big fella, Petro, from Richards. Now that's sharing the ball and carrying. And again, if you have Petro around the basket, you've got to find him early because of how long he is and his ability to finish.
Hey, look, Petro's got 9 points. He might be the first player to hit double figures, but it's a tight tussle at the moment. I think we're going through a little bit of a lull in activity because they're just checking each other out, you know, and trying to find inroads, but they're understanding how each other play as well at the same time.
And they're staying in this zone. FAP is trying to force potentially long jump shots like that one.
Just coming off the metal. There's another squandered opportunity there over on that right-hand side from Cipriano. Another timeout. They can... Well, if you had a little bit of a breather, you're going to be really on the edge of your seats watching this, because FAP of Cameroon, of course, trailing by 4, leading at the start of the first quarter, the end of the first quarter. Now it's a 4-point game, and they need to get themselves back into it. They've lost a few balls, a few turnovers, of course, just in this second quarter. It's time for them to try and hit back. We just had a timeout. What do you think the coaches said to each other, to the players after that timeout, Lance?
Well, I'm gonna make a hope, and I hope what they said to him was take better care of the ball and rebound.
Put it in there. That's where it's meant to be. That is where it's meant to be. Moraes is the man. Moraes is the man. A 3-pointer, and that has just extended their lead to 7 points. Petro starting to sort of edge away from FAP. It's time for the Camerooni boys to hit back. 3 of their own. Well, that's the way to do it. You've got to hit back, you've got to react, and being reactive is going to spur them on, give them the confidence.
Yeah, well, and if you put some efficiency with good shooting, that's the team I think that's going to give themselves a best chance to win the game. That's not efficiency as Etienne gets the steal and turns it into some offense.
He's going a little bit too fast towards the basket there. It was, just couldn't control it. Look at that.
No, and it looked like he might have tried to avoid the pressure. He had felt that coming. He might have gotten himself to the line and using his body to protect the ball to get a good, clean layup.
Lance, you know what it's like when you've got someone just behind you. You don't even have to see them. You can feel them, right?
Exactly right, especially as hard as these guys play. But how about them staying with this zone the entirety?
Incredible, right?
Second quarter.
Tactics. That's a missed two there from Petro. You would have appreciated taking those two to get that 7-point lead back. Not the case, and that's a good 3-point opportunity, but I'm afraid that it comes to nothing there for Sange.
Moraes, he commits the foul. He's part of that core group. Paolo, Cipriano, Moraes. Robbie, that is their core. Those guys are 38, and 35 years old. And you wouldn't expect him to make those kind of errors, especially in a game as big as this one.
Well, we saw Paolo just, just giving the ball to the opposition earlier. I think he did it twice, just inside of the arc earlier on in the quarter. Yeah, that's unforgivable. You know, when you're playing this kind of a high-octane encounter, you just can't do that, especially if you're experienced, like you said. The youngsters can get away with it. You're learning. You're going through the process. But I'm afraid that is not good. You're absolutely right, Lance, and they need to pull up their socks, literally.
Yeah, you expect that from FAP.
Nice double score there. That's exactly what they need. That is just the right remedy for a situation that wasn't looking too good as they
quarter or maybe the second half.
And what do you make of that? You know, preserving players. You know, do you have to really pamper them? I mean, you've seen it. You've been around the block. You've seen a lot of things, Lance. Do you keep those players? When's the right time to keep those players pampered?
Well, you got to keep everybody engaged in a part of the process. You certainly don't want to isolate him. And a lot of times communication can help in that. There was a kick ball that looked like it was missed. Speaking of which, Cipriano misses the long three.
Yeah, it definitely, it was kind of an advantage play because it came back to Petro de Luanda, which is quite a strange call, but it doesn't matter.
Neto didn't know whether to complain or not.
That's how fast this game is, you know. They probably missed it. No, I'm just kidding, of course. You know, that's just a little joke. Please, don't jump on the bandwagon.
No. Don't jump on the bandwagon. Cedric missed a three. No, I saw a thought bubble. Literally, he looked to complain, and then it's almost like the other side of his brain said, no, you got the ball back. Don't complain.
Don't say
anything.
He was just about to open
it. He's like, oh. It's almost like he said, it was a kick ball, but don't call it.
Yes,
we're going to get an open shot. As Petro knocks down the free throw.
He's into double figures, I believe. That's the first player. Well, we're 2.5 minutes away from half time, of course, and there he is, Petro, who's the MVP in his opening game, of course, for Petro, with 10 points now.
He's such a beautiful basketball player to watch because as he misses the free throw there, and they corral it, Petro does. Moraes has it in isolation, and they stay in that zone.
In a good place at the moment, Petro. That's a big, firm pass out to the left-hand side. And it's been drained. It's been drained in a wonderful way. The 36-year-old Carlos Moraes. There's future. There's a future for us if he's 36 and he's just draining those kind of shots, Lance.
Yeah, and I call him part of the core. He's part of the heart and soul of this team.
Oh, I don't believe it. I love the thing, you know, whatever you can do, I can do a little bit better. Well, why not, you know? How about that? That was sensational, and that's what we want. This is end-to-end riveting basketball here at the Basketball Africa League, the first of its kind in history. Yes! I just can't believe it. That's another three-pointer.
I don't know what to do. Listen to you or watch the game because I'm having a blast doing both. This is some exciting basketball to watch.
Paolo. Oh, ball has just come off the ring there on that occasion. It was Antwan Scott getting his first points, of course, from Texas, the American point guard. And here they go for another 2. And Petro Luanda, I don't think they'll get those points, of course, but because the foul was already called. But a 7-point lead, and this is just coming to life, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's turned into as you like to say, if you can do it, I can do it a little better for you, or a little better than you. You space these guys on either ball club. If you space them, Robbie, the ball is going up. They're that aggressive, and both coaches have given what I like to call all of their players the green light to get done what they need to get done. There are no restrictions in terms of scoring, and that's why I want to go back to a point I made earlier about mistakes. As Pedro misses the free throw, I really do think by the end of this game, the team that has brought things together and made the fewest mistakes, be it making free throws, be it not turning the ball over, whatever the case may be in terms of executing efficiently, that will be the winning ball club in this game. Oh, and there's a sighting right there on the floor. Thomas Jr. is on the court.
He's back on, isn't he? The scramble in the paint. Can you get the rebound? Can you just pop it in? Well, the answer to that is no. And Kenny, the local player, of course, missing out on 2 vital points, because that 8-point lead, you don't want it to move into double figures. That's a massive high throw. I think he was trying to play NFL there, Lance. It's just not gonna. It's a shotgun, isn't it?
Yeah. And speaking of double figures, I mean, you're like a prophet, like double figures in turn. Try to keep it under 10, okay. But the focus right now has got to be on this next possession and play. That's exactly what we're going to see Thomas Jr. try to execute here as they come from the timeout. The thing they don't want here, Robbie, is a turnover.
Important moment for FAP, of course. They just called the timeout. They're back on. And, of course, there's Nkene. And there's a good opportunity for 3. But the 3 points, and it is a rebound. It's a defensive rebound taken comfortably there by Pedro. And they miss out on a pair of points.
Yeah, and you'll take it if your FAP. It was a good shot. You just didn't execute it. But they ran the offense well. Back to that zone here with 25 to go on the clock.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. You know, when I actually look over to that far side, I'm going, it's 3 points every single time. And Antwan Scott is just pouring it in now. He's having an absolute blast.
Yeah, and it's something we call in the States Groundhog Day. You space these guys, Robbie, and they're going to shoot it. You got to crowd them a little more.
Bill Murray will make an appearance in a moment.
Well, I thought Amadou was very, very fortunate. And Chai, he agrees with me. Look at that. He goes straight up. And Amadou careened his body right into the chest. The little fella who plays much bigger than his size, Robbie, much like you, did the right thing there by just going straight vertical. Yeah. He unfortunately got a call there. You're laughing, but you are, man. You carry a big stroke, buddy.
Cheers, Lance. 11 points. 11 points is a big difference, isn't it? This is the man. He needs to really nail this from Niger. Haruna gets the points there, but it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a very, very tough little tussle here. There's another timeout call.
He has got to guard them and pressure them away from the basket and take away as much time as they can as they try to get up this last shot with 5.2 to go in the half.
Yeah, and here's Petro opportunity, little last opportunity as they push forward with Cipriano.
No defender.
There's no one there, but it doesn't matter. It's a missed shot, and we will finish the half with a 10-point difference. It's a big difference. We talked about the psychological effect of just having double. I can tell you that. Lads, just tell me one thing. How important is this competition for the kids who want to play basketball in Africa?
Oh, well, it's an incredible starter. I've been fortunate to be close to Amadou Gallo Fall and seen some of the early days and the growth. I was fortunate enough to see Hakeem Olajuwon drafted into the NBA and what that has grown into as Pedro throws the ball away and FAP brings it back with Thomas Jr. running the point. But this is huge. This is like a fire starter to the next level with the great foundation that has been created. So as Thomas Jr. misses The fadeaway.
And the follow-up there from Kenny. Yeah. Carry on, please. I think we've got a few more seconds we can talk about this because it's important.
It is important, and we can go quick like the game. But, yeah, I just think that it's a difference maker having this league. The players play so hard. They're so passionate. And quite frankly, Robbie, as Moraes misses the 3-ball, some of these guys could come out of here with potential NBA looks.
And that's extraordinary, isn't it? You know, when I actually saw, that's a good opportunity for a three-pointer. It just comes to nothing, though. Once again, at the other side from the 32, Hezekiah, the American. It's just incredible, isn't it? And the experience from everybody. Wow, how about that? Bring it on. Where did that come from? Out of space. Just going back to what I was saying, and it's an opening. The doors have been flung open for all of the children, all of the girls and the boys to get involved. They'll see this league, they'll say, crikey, this is our moment now. You know, we'll have one of the best leagues in the world, you know, that's outside of the NBA, but will be unparalleled in Africa. And I think that is extraordinary. The opportunities that you actually get, it's top notch, as we see a free throw going in there for FAP as they try to reel in Petro.
Robbie, and I love the way you said that, because the BAL and the NBA have done a phenomenal job. You said boys and girls. We have female officials, female DJs, female commentators, obviously males. I mean, the inclusion of this league is on a whole nother level, really, than anywhere you've seen in near term around the world. As another turnover occurs, they just keep compounding. I'm starting to lose count as we get to 13 here early in the second half by Petro.
Yeah, it's got to be careful, haven't you? You know, it's not the right scenario. We're a couple of minutes in, and it's an 8-point game, so they've reduced the arrears by 2, but there's still a lot of work to do. He was given a clear opportunity there just to get the 2 points there, but I'm afraid that it doesn't hit the target there. Murray's missing out on the pair. And it's a good 3-point that I'm afraid is not drained. The work rate around the outside, Thomas Jr. has been great. We've already got someone who's moved into double figures, by the way, just coming into this third quarter. He ghosted there. I didn't even know how he managed to do it. Antwan Scott.
Well, you sound like FAP, because he's not getting the kind of pressure I would think they would want to apply to him as Cipriano misses the 3-ball. I mean, I would expect that Scott would have a lot more pressure on him defensively than he's gotten. He even made the basket a moment ago with a nice short jump shot from about 15 feet.
FAP, the ball comes out to the left side there, and it's another miss, this time from Kenny. And Petro pick up possession. There's a lot of missed points there in the last few plays that we've seen here. The focus needs to get back on track, Lance.
Yeah, and one of the things that I keep talking about with these turnovers is how careless Petro is sometimes with the ball, but it also speaks to the length and how long the arms are of the FAP ball club. You've got to be on time, on target, and very quick and deceptive with your passes.
There's Petro, of course, with the travel call going against him. So once again, it's the ball goes back to the defensive team after an offensive error. It's been the story so far, the theme. You can see that the coaches are screaming. Neto's up out of his feet, you know, just shouting out the orders to Vander and co to try and get them to function correctly.
Yeah, I mean, just put this in context. We're up to 14 turnovers by Petro, which is just an absolute surprise to me.
It's a good chance for 3, but it's been foiled once again by the iron. Sometimes the metal just gets in the way a little bit too much, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think the thing that's helping Petro right now, in spite of the turnover bug, is the pace, because FAP typically plays at a lot faster pace than what we're seeing now. The other thing that I would put with those turnovers is they aren't live ball turnovers, which you can turn into baskets. They're getting a chance to set up their defense, which does such a good job, as Mr. Scott finally comes back to reality and misses the long 3-ball.
Yeah, just coming up a little bit short there. That's a wonderful piece of acrobatic action there, but again, FAP unable to get the points. It comes out wide, just on the edge of the the perimeter.
And there was nothing there. I thought Amadou on that last possession.
Oh, look at it. I mean, it's just, it's sloppy, isn't it?
Yeah, again, the arms are longer than you think, and they're causing havoc for Petro.
That is fantastic. Now, that's how to shoot, isn't it? Just tell it like it is. Cipriano just showing exactly what he's capable of doing. The veteran playing like a youngster.
Yeah, and he was very poised and calm, sitting in that corner and knocking down that three. I think he spent some time actually in Detroit back in the day. So he's got a lot of experience as a veteran for this team. And again, part of that core.
He had a
Petro.
trial with the Spurs as well, of course, you know. So he's, well, one of the most successful players from Petro de Luanda. You saw that play there. That was quite spectacular, to say the least.
Yeah, and that was beautiful, well-crafted. Watch him use the rim here, takes the hit, and then gets it up just on the other side of the basket with a little flick. If you're going to foul a guy like that, your FAP, you've got to make sure he doesn't get the arm above the shoulder. And Kene didn't stay with it. Scott did stay with it. And it looks like, Robbie, they've lost the memo, man. Can you talk a little louder and let them know who the man of the hour is in this game this afternoon?
You can take my headset off and we could probably still be heard across the continent. Sorry, I apologize for that. We're just trying to give you something back from what we're experiencing. And if you're getting that, then we're happy, as the attempted three-pointer just fails to hit the target once again. They're trying their hardest. They're working their magic, but it's not good enough. He's 39 years of age. I don't know what he does, Olimpio Cipriano, but he looks like he's about 24. What's the magic there, Lance? What's going on?
Of course, he's part of a quality organization that obviously they take good care of him, and vice versa. He's also a pro and takes care of his body. To your point, he looks good, and so he's part of that core. Marius and Cipriano, they all feed off of each other, and they're the anchors for this ball club.
Yeah, that was good. It was exactly what Neto just said. He said, sort of, you know, we've got so much experience here that even the youngsters are just feeding off the experience that we've got in the group, and the youngsters aren't that young. Anyway, I think Dundao is the youngest, and what a player he is, and he's learning from the best, right? As the ball's been turned over there, it's another turnover. Oh, he just doesn't know how to get the ball back over to one of his teammates.
Well, the reason why he tried to make a play there, talk about getting it to teammates, there really was nothing to be made. There was nucleic acid as well.
Yep.
In the way that acts within the human body, or DNA.
I mean, super important, isn't it? Because, you know, everybody needs to sort of, you know, use up that energy, of course, you know, and you've got to recover well. It's important to recover. Very important here, this moment in the game for FAP. The charge coming through, but I'm afraid that there was no boulevard that opened up, and the ball goes out. It's going to be the boys in whites who still have possession. You can just see that there.
Yeah, and Coach Lazar's got to be happy. That was a design play. Put the ball in Cedric's hands, got close to the basket, got the defender up, and got himself on the line with an opportunity to score two quick baskets without time running off the clock, which is a plus. But they're going to have to keep an eye on the clock and try to create space, which is what FAP plays with. I think that's been one of the keys to this second half, though Petro has kept them at a much slower pace. Let's say more of at a pace that I would go versus a Robbie, which has been a little bit of an issue for FAP to make this a much closer game.
It's all about speed at times, isn't it? You know, you've really got to put your foot on the accelerator and just get going. And otherwise, you just you'll see the other vehicle just storming past you, and you just won't be able to play catch up. And that's where they're at the moment. FAP as Petro try and land the three-pointer. And once again, we get another call. It's a call going against FAP. They've got lost behind. They've been overtaken, and they've got to do something to clamber back. They were on the receiving end against AS Sally, so they've been there before. They know what to do. They've seen it.
Well, I think we might have a technical foul here and a player injury. Looks like Amadou is on the floor.
Interesting shot there, of course. You know, the new coach of Petro de Luanda looking very calm and collected, and of course Lazare Adia Ngono, the Camerooni coach, just a little bit further up on the sideline, vehemently expressing himself in a big way, because there's a lot of concerns within the Camerooni team. Of course, they lost out in their opening game. It's a do-or-die situation for them.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of times you get these technicals. They can encourage a lot of energy and also stop momentum. And we know right now, Petro has the momentum going in their favor.
Back on Tamatong Toko. Here's the free throw. First one is good, and that's the only one they get, of course. But Petro get the ball back over on that far side. It's a 13-point game. Petro, they can move into a very controlled position if they are disciplined and they don't lose the ball. They've got the technical ability, of course. It's up to FAP to rattle them, Lance. It's up to them to score, try and get points like that.
Well, they did a good job. They're turning their defense into offense, maintained a level of poise where they didn't get the turnover.
Yeah, so just forcing the foul, and you know, they're so quick and they're so sneaky, FAP, that even the smaller guys, when they're pushing forward, they can draw the fouls and just put them out of their comfort zone, because Petro just look comfortable now.
Yeah, and also the pace looks like it's more in Petro's favor. Seeing a lot of free throws, not a lot of transition basketball as we saw in the first period when FAP had the lead.
They won their first ever national title, of course, in the Elite Messieurs League, of course, in 2020. Can you imagine that? They were runners-up, actually, in 2019, which was the year of qualification for all of these different teams across Africa. Condor BC, they turned down the invitation to play. I don't know for what reasons, but it doesn't matter. The fact is that they said, yeah, we're coming, we'll take it. You give us the ticket and we want to come in and play. That was a wonderful layup there, and a wonderful charge there from Dundao.
Well, I've heard a rumor that the Red Sea parted one time, and it looked like it happened just there as Dundao walked right down the lane line and all the way to the basket. The little fella playing much bigger than he really is as he gets the rebound going back the other way, Robbie.
It's a quick acceleration, isn't it? Oh, that's a beautiful attempt, but I'm afraid that it's not on target. You know, when you see the likes of Paolo and Moraes and Cipriano, of course, Bander, just setting their sights from outside, you just go, ooh, you've got to be careful there, because these guys, they've had so many years of experience.
Sometimes, if the game isn't, as a player, if the game wasn't combative enough or aggressive enough, it would help me to get in a mode where there was some level of conflict, if you will, be it verbal, physical, or otherwise.
Tell it like it is.
I'm just telling it like it is. Today, what got me going, though, was being around you.
Oh, look at that. I love this. This is ridiculous.
As Yves Louise knocks down the big corner shot. It is. We shouldn't be getting paid for this, man. This is too much fun. As Petro tries to get a basket.
Oh, where did it go? He's going, where did it go? Well, it's a good chance for FAP to charge. But it comes to nothing. And you can see that Neto, there's the foul that's been given. Of course, they will get a pair of points there from the free throw line if they can obviously get them. But quick ball up. You've got to get it up there as quickly as possible, haven't you, Lance?
Yeah, you do. But I think they called that before the shot was taken on the floor. Dundao did a good job. See, you like that as a coach, Robbie, because you were possibly going to give up a layup, but instead now they've got to run the possession, something that FAP hasn't done a great job of in the half court here in this second half.
Well, it is a three-point shot, but it's, again, missing the target, 41-53, and Petro moving forward, moving into the danger zone. The ball comes back out as a three-point shot going in, comes off the ring, and it's gone out. It's going to be FAP who get possession. Who are the X-factor players who can come on for FAP and change them and mix things up to get them into a position where they can actually start rattling Petro de Luanda?
Well, one of them's not on the floor. That's Thomas Jr. He's on the bench. I think you need him. And Coleman is another one. Etienne is one. They have some guys on the floor, but I really think the star for this team is not a person, it's pace.
Wow.
I really do. The shot is blocked by Paulo.
Yeah, he came in storming in, didn't he? Just to get himself in the way. He saw that there was an opportunity. You can see just on the outside of the perimeter. That fantastic play, wasn't it, from the big veteran? That was a show of experience there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's a but. Sort of fantastic, because you end up with a guy at the free throw line. What would have made it, in my estimation, fantastic is you get that block, but don't foul.
That's it.
And so he could have gotten it because, to your point about their older players, they're still athletic and they're very long. And so the point at which he went to block that, he's got to change that angle, and you end up with a much better result. Instead, he's got a chance, and they do. Etienne makes the free throw. Now you're inside of 10.
Yes. Because
of the over-aggression on the block.
Now, we've got Vander, who's just clambering and creating a right nuisance within the defenders, of course, and this is what he does best, isn't it? You know, just pick and roll, use that big body of his, shield, draw the foul, pick off the points. It's beautiful to the eye.
Yeah, and to add to that, what he does well is, like this team, he's very patient there. The double team has to come a little quicker, but you can't give Vander that kind of space, as he argues with the official, and expect that he's not going to be able to execute.
Yeah, it's a third foul, isn't it? Third personal foul that's been dished out, and you can see there's a little bit of frustration there amongst the Petro team. They're being rattled a little bit. You know, this is the important period right now for FAP. I'm saying period, you know, basically explaining the time, 1 minute 23 before the end of the third.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to self-inflicted wounds. You got to make those free throws at Baku. If you're down by 10 this late and you're getting to the free throw line, you need to make up that ground for your ball club.
Vital. It's vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Bapu.
You see Paulo, no one's guarding him up top, trying to force him to take a shot.
And Garansu gets the ball to Vander. But there you go. And they're getting small little nuggets, aren't they? You know, and I think that's really important for them, because you can see Coach, you know, and he's looking very happy with the fact that Lazar, that is, of course, that they are getting away with stuff that they're picking up, and if they can chip away and sort of, you know, scratch the surface, then afterwards they can go straight in.
Yeah, and that you said, and those turn into opportunities, those nuggets that you talk about, if you translate them on the basketball floor.
Big time. Haruna. Ooh, he's...
Look at the little fella defend.
Doing so well, isn't he? Look what he does. And that's a turnover ball. He did so well to just rattle Haruna in a big way. And that's what Dundao does. You know, the 23-year-old, the youngest guy, he's 27 in 2017. Under-19 World Cup, 2016 Afro-Baskets, you know, under-18s player. Great future already. This is a good opportunity as well for Petro Luanda, but a good defensive rebound taken there.
Yeah, an excellent play. That was a great backdoor cut and pass. Marius unable to finish, but that was well executed, except for the finish.
It's a three-point attempt. And at the other end, oh, that's going to be a foul, and that will be 2 free throws, of course. Just a bit of a shoulder barge, wasn't it, coming in?
Yeah, and a bit of veteranness, if there is such a word.
I love that word.
Well, because did you see how he used his body? He knew what was coming. He took the hit. And that's something that some young players may not be aware of and might try to expose the ball and get it blocked. He did a great job of putting his body between the defender and the ball.
Yeah, and after that, you know, when you see Carlos Moraes missing one of his two, if he misses this one, then it's, you know, he's put his body on the line for his team.
And we've seen even more extreme mistakes than a guy missing 2 free throws when he makes the second one.
12 seconds left on the clock for this third quarter, and then afterwards, of course, you know, it's going to be the very important team talk between the coaches, of course, and the players coming into that very vital fourth quarter. FAP, they need to win to stay in contention, to try and qualify for the final 8. They could squeeze through as one of the third best teams. Of course, there are 2 of those slots available, and a missed opportunity there, but a foul that's gone against Petro de Luanda, and on the other side you've got Petro de Luanda, of course, who can qualify if they win their second straight game.
Well, and the film sessions here, I don't know why you want to commit that foul, which you could possibly argue it, but you don't want to give the ref any opportunity to call an easy call in that situation, because again, you're up by 11, have a chance to extend it to 13, and instead you put FAP on the line, and Amadou does what he does and makes a free throw and another turnover.
That is a fantastic opportunity, but it hasn't been secured, I'm afraid. They don't deliver, but, well, you can see that there is an 9-point lead, and Petro. Welcome back to the Kigali Arena in Rwanda. It's 47 points for FAP of Cameroon. Lost their opening game. Now they're trailing by 9 points to Petro de Luanda, who are on the cusp of something great. Of course, the Giants of Angola with a 9-point lead. Lance Blacks is with me. Lance, let's have a look at some of the stats. We've got Antwan Scott, 17 points, of course. He's the top scorer so far. But it's been an all-round team effort, I get the impression, for Petro de Luanda, in the way that they've managed to wrestle themselves into the fourth quarter and move ahead quite comfortably after quite a sluggish start.
Job of overcoming their issues as well. I mean, you talk about Scott, but also they've had a ton of turnovers, 20 of them. And in spite of that, they have the lead as Amadou gets the rebound and put back. And I tell you what, no one can question FAP's heart. They have the heart of a lion here, refusing to go away early in the fourth, Robbie.
Oh, big time. And Ryan Richards coming on. Of course, no points for him in this game so far. And you know, he's one of the big guys. Played 13 minutes, but he didn't play in the third quarter. He didn't come on for a single second. I think that you know, when you actually look at him, he was, well, he was the demolition man, one of the demolition men anyway for the Angolan side in the opening game that they played. So maybe they need to put a little bit more pressure on him to perform. But at the end of the day, you know, when you're in cruise control and you've managed to extend that lead to what they've got there at the moment, I think that, you know, there's no need to bring on someone and change a winning formula.
Yeah, and Yves Louis shoots the air ball. He's got to be more patient and find a teammate in that situation.
There's Richards just coming off the rim there and unable to find the points.
And this is where FAP flourishes. They love creating that pace. You saw Amadou do it. If he got the rebound, whenever their guards get the rebound and Thomas Jr.'s back in the game, you have to treat it like they're into their offense, even when they're in the backcourt, because they're so aggressive about scoring the ball.
It's work in progress. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Need to get yourself the three-pointer, but it's not happening. The attempt there coming in from Hezekiah.
Yeah, and that's on Richards. He grabbed the defender there. It's a good job.
He picked up, I think he was on four fouls in the opening game, of course, but he was. He got those fouls quite early, I think, in the opening game. So he's a player that really is extremely physical, and maybe they just want to bring him on for the final quarter and get him involved in the heart of the action, of course, because they know that they're coming up against a very physical FAP. It's a three-point attempt, and that is sensational. That's what they want. That's what they've been looking for. Haruna of Niger just showing his country exactly what he's capable of doing.
Well, and that was because of that offensive rebound. Richards came over and created the missed shot. No one helped him on the backside for the rebound for Petro. But what that's turned into is a game here as Petro leads by 4.
An attempt at 3 and picked up there by FAP. It's a chance, this is, isn't it? They'll take advantage. Oh! It's been drained. It's been drained. It's gone down. It's in. And look at that. A timeout's been called. But just look what's happening here. We are now looking at a 1 point. We know that right across Africa and across the world, and I think I actually didn't miscalculate last time. I think it was 250 countries, 215 countries, 15 languages. You can watch it, of course, and tell all of your friends. TheBAL.com if you want to stream it. Otherwise, loads of channels everywhere. Watch it, get involved, because it is absolutely riveting, this stuff, Lance, and it's going down to the wire here in Kigali.
Coming right out of the timeout.
Oh,
you didn't send the memo, buddy.
Oh,
Antwan Scott comes out of the timeout. Where else are they going to go? He's the man getting it done offensively.
The fax machine's not working. It's come on, it's Richards with a big chuck up. God, crikey, this is just going mad. It's going mad. Pedro, he is just playing some extraordinary basketball when it matters. The key players need to stand out now. X Factor, bring it on. Oh,
and I hope we get to see that last possession. That is textbook basketball in any corner of the earth. Richards threw that beautiful long pass. Watch, no dribble, catch and finish. That is the way you play the sport when you want to show it in the form of poetry.
It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Richard, ooh, he turns around. He is absolutely frustrated with that bounce pass there into no man's land. He knows it as well.
Well, I think they're going to set. I guarantee you they'll set a record today in the BAL for turnovers. That is number 21 or 2. Is that 22? I think
22.
Oh God! Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of turnovers.
Haruna working with Thomas Jr. Oh, this is looking good. It's just flying off the metal. But look, it's high fives. They're coming together, FAP. They know that this is their moment.
Well, and not only that, one of the reasons that Thomas Jr. is so hard to guard is because he's similar to you. He's always in go mode. He's always looking to probe and create opportunities for his team. There's no let up. And if you're guarding a guy like that, I've had to do that before, it's not fun because he's never in a mode where he's looking to give the ball up. He almost has to score or attempt to score to feel good about himself or feel like he's contributing to the team's success.
The second is sound, and it's a three-point scenario. 6:28. I'm just trying to work out, Sherlock Holmes fashion, what's going to go on here. I'm trying to look at the permutations of and the scenario. It's a very complicated one, isn't it? There's an attempt for 3 going in, but it's again a missed opportunity that would have leveled the scores, and it would have been ideal.
Yeah, it's almost as if you got Thomas Jr. on your team running your club, you're going to have a chance. And so now you've got to bring other pieces into the fold to do their part, whether it be rebounds, whether it be blocking shots, whether it be getting him free and or making open looks. He's that good of a ball player, and he has that kind of confidence in what he can do on the floor.
And they're working well together, aren't they, Thomas Jr. and Haruna?
And Colme has it up top. Back to Thomas Jr. as he comes off the screen of the basket.
Oh, that is delightful. Look at Richards. He's probably about 15 times bigger than him, but he still manages to just reach around the subtle hands, such soft hands, and then the finger roll just to get it back over there and in.
Yeah, he looked like the cartoon guy, Mr. Gadget, would coming out with that left hand. He put it up with the lefty.
Detective Gadget.
Golly, watch it with the sweet lefty. Oh. He shot that like he knew what he was doing. That young man is gassed, though. He's leaving it all on the floor, Robbie.
I think one of his pastimes is playing the harp. It's just so smooth, isn't it? You know, it's that sound. It's delightful. This is really interesting. Now it's a 1-point game. We are really hitting. I think we can say money time soon. Vander for three. He's unable to get his range. Flying back off the boards. Picked up here by... Oh, it's been given away. Given away now, and the layup is going to go in. Look at the scoreline. This is 62-59, and all of a sudden, Petro just moved 3 points ahead.
Well, that's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. They get close, FAP, and they have no relent in them. They didn't want to take their time as they're doing now to get a basket. It's wide open for...
He just saw it open up. It was the Red Sea just parted again. It just opened up. He went straight through. That was, look at it. It's ridiculous. We're psychological games on court. Trying to get, one over your opponents. That was the play, I think, of the game so far. Lance Black's just, it's sensational, right?
Oh, beautiful. And now we got to get back to some stops for us. FAP, they got a chance to close this lead. A missed opportunity there to give up the easy layup to Gerson right around the basket.
Thomas Jr. picking the ball up. Looking for options, looking for moments. Some really tight zoning marking there from Jason Gonçalves. Ball comes out as a three-pointer, of course, and Haruna unable to, Thomas Jr. unable to get the three.
I think we got a shot clock issue. Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't get reset properly. To your point earlier, great officiating, as we've seen all BAL league long. Officials have been absolutely exceptional.
Top notch. And honestly, when you look at this, I know that FIBA and NBA partners with BAL, of course, but I hope that people who follow the NBA are watching this, because it's incredible, isn't it? We know about the... Well, that's a missed three coming in from Thomas Jr. That would have been a game changer to just level things up.
It is. Robbie, I'm going to send you a memo. I follow the NBA, just FYI, and I'm watching.
For example.
Oh, okay. Because you said you hope people follow NBA. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's the millions.
It's the other people.
It's the millions.
It's the other people. I got it. I got it.
I know.
Guys, not with you.
It's Haruna for three.
Man, you can make your eyes big, buddy.
I know. I like one of those cartoon characters.
Nah, you're pretty special, but hey, we're in the balance, down three.
So are you, Lance?
FAP with Petro, 61-64.
Drive, getting
Scott
the ball
throws out to Vander.
Vander, look at that. The shot clock goes down. He was looking for a teammate rather than looking at the seconds going away. Wasted opportunity there. That'll go against them. But you can see the frustration on his face.
Well, it should be. Joakim should be frustrated. You can't be that much of a veteran on this team and have that turnover. If nothing else, just launch it up at the rim. But we talked about it all game long. Turnovers have been their Achilles heel. They lose this game, that's exactly what they will look at.
It's Haruna trying to charge his way between traffic. That's a little bit of a little
foot grab,
a bit playful on the ground. Charge coming in, Petro Luanda, and again there's a few obstacles in the way.
Block shot right from behind.
A sneaky one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a dagger in the back, isn't it? 61-64. Look at the clock.
Yeah,
that's what you've got to be looking at now, people.
And look at the no bonus, which I think plays in Petro's favor.
Oh, sensational.
But Antwan Scott's done a great job, Robbie, all day long, capitalizing when FAP goes to sleep. Anytime he hasn't had pressure, he's exploited poor defense.
But that's a skill, Lance. That really is.
Absolutely, it's a skill. The skill is knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them.
Oh, it's Vander just dropping the ball and then trying to take out one of the FAP players. It's getting a little bit physical now because we know that there's a little bit of frustration within the FAP camp, of course. And at the same time, Petro are not nailing their points.
Well, not only that, they have a tendency, as we've talked about all game long, to turn the ball over. So you talk about skills. One of the skills that FAP, as we see Thomas Jr. come back into the game, they need to employ is having balance right now, because FAP has shown themselves to be able to get back into the game, but struggle with closing.
Hey, this is 2 3-pointers, and they're ahead, remember, Lance.
Oh, nice jump stop by Amadou.
They get the ball back as well. Rebound, that's another good rebound. Oh, the ball's flying all over the place. Finally, it's been picked up by Vander. Gets the ball out wide. There's a chance to push forward here. And Gonsalves, but he waits. He waits patiently.
Yeah.
It's intelligent now. This is game management.
Well, and they have the ball in the right man's hands. As in Scott, as he directs. Look at the floor. It's wide open. Got a clock issue. And he observed that. That's what he was pointing at and explaining to the officials.
Yeah, we can see it up on the screen. It's stuck.
Yeah, and right now he knows the clock is his friend.
I'm not plugged into the electricity system, so that you know.
No, I know.
Nothing to do with me, though.
I wouldn't blame that on you. Only thing I'm blaming you on.
No, here we go. I just opened up
the memo.
Stop with the memo. No one does memos anymore.
No, those memos are somewhere between this table and the bench.
1:23. There's a offensive foul there, of course, as you can see. It's Petro. Yeah, the Angolan fans, the best traveling supporters in Africa, by the way.
They're the top.
Oh, absolutely.
To go with one of the top countries, arguably, on the continent.
You got it. It's massive.
Doesn't it always go like that? Like the best friends of... Here's Scott.
Scott missing from the edge of the perimeter, but they're going to use this time, of course. There's a traveling call.
Well, and how about Cipriano? He was very accepting of that call.
That comes with experience. I think he knows it. We got to
bit and be good with that, because right. I've got a minute plus left in the game. All I've got to do is execute, and I know Petro, they've done it all day long, Robbie. They're going to give me another chance. I just need to be able to close and seize it.
Thomas Jr., that was just, is that a foul or was that just...
No, it was knocked out of bounds. But you see Thomas Jr., he's having a little conversation with Yves Louis. He wanted him to take that up and finish in the air. See him pointing?
Yeah.
See him pointing in the air, which is right, because Petro is too quick, and that little delay allowed them to adjust.
Important score if they can get it, and they pick the ball back up, and there's a foul. So this is important, very important. Look, 54, so not many seconds chewed from the initial tally after the timeout. Gives them 2 shots.
Yeah, and you talk about being a scout. You talk about the NBA. That's hard. Comey, 21, was the smallest player around the rim, and he came up with the basketball at a very challenging and important time of the game, Robbie, and has the chance to put his team within 1 possession just on effort alone.
Oh, where he gets the ball back, and is that a... How did he snatch that ball away? That was just a turnover steal, pinching, daylight robbery, call it what you like, it's gone.
Whatever it was a heck of a possession.
So important, so important. Here he is, as Petro working really, really hard, of course, for this Petro team. Gets the ball back, just moves around the right side. The foul's been committed.
Boy, I don't like it by FAP. You got to be aware that you only had 6 seconds left on the clock. You don't have to apply that level of pressure. Matthews should have just spaced him and forced Petro to have to make a play from that far from the basket.
There's Moraes is coming back on for Paolo, of course. Moraes, we know what he's capable of doing.
Oh, that's offense, defense right there. That's a good decision by Neto. You can do offense, defense all day long. But just if you're solid here, Your FAP, you don't want to get that foul and put them on the lines now being in the bonus. Just stay solid.
FAP, oh, it's been stolen. That's a good bit of skullduggery there as they charge up court looking for those points. The point, oh, it's a fine score indeed. Haroun! 22.5 seconds left on the clock. You can just see that, yeah, it's getting a little bit tight and tense at the moment, Lance. Look at the fact that, you know, it's there's so much at stake.
Yeah, and you're foreshadowing a little bit. I'm going to say this 24.5 mean a lot. They still have a chance to win this.
No,
this is not over, Robbie.
I haven't, you know, sold it as a defeat. I promise you that.
Okay, and I trust you, just like you said you trust me.
You're a good...
There's the turnover, buddy.
And they pick the ball up. FAP going forward. Oh, can they lose? They're going to lose the ball. There's a scramble for the ball. There's a scrum on the ground. And it's going to go back to Petro, I think. That's the call, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a possession arrow call. But I tell you what, Robbie, what this is turning into, and I don't want to sound like I know it all because I don't, but I will say this. Talked about self-inflicted wounds. Both teams. It's just been who's going to turn the ball over last, who will have the fewest mistakes down the stretch. And that's what we're seeing here. We just saw it with those two possessions. One team turns it over, the other team turns it over. And I think with 12.5, if you don't get a steal on the inbound pass, if I'm FAP, then what you do is foul immediately. I expect them, they don't have pressure on the ball. They want to keep it out of Antwan's hands, which is why they're double teaming and face guarding him. But you got to foul quick.
Well, there's a lot of very physical basketball out there. They're chucking the ball around. Of course, you can see this in the last couple of seconds.
No foul.
And, it's a travel call.
Wow.
Is that a travel call?
They called a travel, absolutely. And they may even get a little more time on the clock. One dribble and you could be in trouble.
FAP or Petro.
Look how far he's taking the ball out away from Richards. You see, he's far back like that because he doesn't want him to tip it. It's a catch and shoot here. Oh!
Is that? I thought that might have been a foul. Is it a foul?
Wow.
They're looking at a foul. Calls for a foul. They don't get the foul.
Wow.
It's over.
No, wow, what a finish
that is
to the game.
An anticlimax if I've ever seen one.